Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Between the Summer podcast. We have one unbeaten team now. That is the Minnesota Vikings. All the other unbeaten teams have fallen. The Patriots had Tom Brady back, and they went and did the business against the Browns. Pretty lethal first quarter for Tom Brady after being back, giving a nice statement to Roger Goodell there. I thought it was pretty funny him coming back in and just owning it. But then again, it is the Browns only. Falcons went into Denver and upset them in Mile High. He scored in 23 points to 16 against them. Pretty intensive game. The Panthers slipped to a 1-4 after a Monday Night Football loss to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was three. The Cardinals are back, hopefully, if they can make it. They beat the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. And there's only two teams who have got a bye week this week, so it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of games coming back. Up in week 6, I do believe it will be, yeah. So, Will, how's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going alright. It's going well. I have been on cloud nine this whole week, just imagining like the fact that the greatest quarterback of the world came back, and he was the greatest quarterback in the world. I mean, he was amazing. He looked like he was young and athletic, and did you know he had more passing yards in the first half than Jimmy Garoppolo or Jacoby Brissett had in an entire game. I mean, he had a near
Yeah,
perfect
but
game.
but it is Tom Brady, and like obviously you're gonna run heavy with like those guys.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
he destroyed the field. You could tell that he was pissed off, and a pissed off Tom Brady is the Tom Brady you want.
well, definitely as a well, if you're not a Browns fan, I think yeah, Tom Brady coming back, good for fantasy owners who have got him, obviously. But taking it to the Cleveland Browns, who they're anything the Browns do with their quarterback, it just seems that like it's not gonna work. Like they had Charlie Whitehurst, I heard they've cut him today. Well, Cody Kessler started the game, didn't he?
He started the game, he went down, and then Charlie Whitehurst went down, and then Terrell Pryor lined up at quarterback as well.
And then
So
I'm pretty sure they've cut him.
they
The
must have cut
Browns.
Charlie White.
I'm pretty sure they did. Or maybe they activated him. Start. I can't remember. But anyway, this is your game that you're talking about.
They've elevated Kevin Hogan to backup,
Right. Okay.
and
And they've
they've cut Charlie Whitehurst.
they've
So
chopped. There we go.
clipboard Jesus, as he was referred to in some circles,
Uh,
because he looks like Jesus.
it's true. It's true. He does have a good main event. Anyway, this is your game. One of the games you want to talk about. Naturally, with Tom Brady going back. So take it away.
So yeah, Tom Brady had 406 yards, three
Damn.
touchdowns, and a passer rating of 127.7, which is essentially near perfect. He didn't make a single mistake. I think in his first 10 passes, one of them was incomplete. He completed 28 of 48 of 40 passes. Chris Hogan had 114 yards. Rob Gronkowski had 109 yards. Martellus Bennett had 67 yards. James White had 63 yards. I mean, he just ripped the floor up. I mean, this game was over by the end of the first quarter.
Mm.
Brady looked incredible. I mean, he looked like a 29-year-old Tom Brady. He didn't look like a guy who's 39 years old and has been suspended for 4 weeks and hasn't had a chance to train. I mean, he looked in great condition, really motivated to keep going. Obviously, after the game, he said all the right things and was just saying, "Oh well, I wasn't looking to prove anything. I'm just feeling quite relaxed and everything." So he played that really well, but definitely all the doubters out there. There was a lot of people predicting a slow Brady regression this season, that his numbers dip a bit. But I mean, I think he's the one of the first quarterbacks since Warren Moon in the 90s to have a 400-yard game over the age of 38, I think. So
Damn.
yeah, take that, Peyton Manning. Didn't see you do that at 39. Um, but yeah, it was incredible. I
He's
mean,
coming up to Peyton Manning's record, which is like passing touchdowns, isn't it? Which is like however many passing touchdowns in like your career. I'm pretty sure Peyton had like 195. No. Tom Brady's on 195 or something. And Peyton had like 199. So Tom Brady's got like a whole season left to go and win it, doesn't he?
yeah, and I mean, according to his, uh, Tom Brady, he wants to keep playing until he
Mm.
sucks, and he doesn't suck at the moment. He's about 100 touchdowns behind, just over 100 touchdowns behind Peyton Manning's record. So I think it's a bit of a stretch for him to still get that record.
Wait, well, I thought he was like 5 behind.
No, he's got 431, and Manning has 539.
Oh, what was I listening to? I have no idea. Oh my god.
Five
Okay.
facts.
Oh.
He's seven behind Drew Brees, he's in fourth place. Drew Brees is in third with 438, and then Brett Favre with 508, and Peyton Manning with 539.
Damn.
So yeah, I mean he could definitely close in on Drew Brees' record, and maybe if he keeps playing till, I mean his contract keeps him in contract with the Patriots until he's 42. So I mean there's still 3 more years to go and break some more records, but we'll see. I mean, I think he does spend. I heard some stats that he spends millions of dollars on keeping his body in tip-top condition throughout the season. This is basically his life. I don't really know what's going to happen if he ever retires. Do you think he'll just like shut himself down and cryogenically freeze himself until he can find a way that he can play football again?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if he can actually do that, but I mean, I would be very intrigued if he would if anyone find a way, it would be Bill Belichick with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Just like a final fuck you to the commissioner.
Well, we just on the Browns briefly. They they were just outplayed today. I mean, they're a pretty bad team, but I think it was the same kind of thing. They played hard. They looked like they'd want to play for Hugh Jackson. And they believe in what Hugh Jackson's doing. But today was just a case where they were just completely outclassed. There was nothing they could do that would have won this game. You could really tell that Cody Kessler's a rookie quarterback. He looked completely out of his depth. Bill Belichick just confused him with all the defensive routes that he put on him. Charlie Whitehurst, well, we know about Charlie Whitehurst. He's not that good of a quarterback, and he proved it. And then, I mean, Terrell Pryor was only in for a couple snaps, so he couldn't really do much. I mean, the Patriots went up 7-0, and then the Browns equalized, and that was about all the Browns did to challenge the Patriots, and then it was pretty much downhill from there for the Browns. And worrying stuff for the Browns. I'm really worried they're not going to win a game, which is kind of sad because they don't feel like a team that's like a really crap 0-16 team. They feel like a team that's playing really, really hard, and they believe in what they're doing, and they want to win a game. So it's quite sad to watch.
I found out what the actual stat that I was thinking of earlier, which is actually like most career wins ever for a quarterback. Okay. So Tom Brady's on 173 right now. Peyton Manning is on 186, so he's a bit behind. But at the same time, Tom Brady, he's definitely got that's maybe like 1 year for Tom Brady.
Yeah, if he goes deep into the postseason, which you kind of fully expect him to do.
So I mean, like fully expect him to do that. Sorry, it wasn't what I thought it was like straight away, but a little bit off on that stat.
That's all right. That's all right. Do you want to move on to your game?
All right. Okay. So one of the games I want to talk about is the Houston Texans, who traveled to Minnesota in that new stadium there to go take on the Vikings, and the Vikings come out with the victory here, and a really easy win from them. They eased to a 31-13 win, and it just seems that their defense is just the most stellar one out there right now. Even though all of their game, like their offense with Sam Bradford, but like by the way, this is like the biggest surprise for me, having Sam Bradford come in and just take this team to 5-0. When that's probably the biggest surprise to me. But this Minnesota team, it's winning all over the field. They had like a kickoff, a punt return for a touchdown. Like anything they do, their defense is super hot right now with Brock like getting an interception the day. And just, well, Sam Bradford is just like one of those. He's a definition of like one of those quarterbacks you bring in, and you don't ask them to do much. You just ask them to play how the to go along with how the Minnesota Vikings play their game. Like hand the ball off, also pass a fair bit. Just take care of the ball. Just don't throw it away. Game manager. That's what Sam Bradford is, and he's on par right now. I mean, he's hitting loads of receivers for the Vikings. It seems that. Even without their top rusher in Adrian Peterson, and Stephon Diggs is out for this game, I do believe. And it just seems that they don't have their quarterback. Well, they didn't have their starting one, but Sam Bradford's making a case for it. And the Minnesota Vikings, they just keep surprising me every week. I always expect them to come up against like a big defense like the Texans. Granted, they don't have J.J. Watt, but that defense is still something to watch out for. But it's just easy for them right now. They're playing teams who go to the playoffs, and they're getting easy wins. And they're falling out on their just like trounce them on defense. And like you have Sam Bradford leading the way on offense. It's not flashy. I'll give you that. But it's working for Sam Bradford. I mean, he had 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that's all you really want from him. I think this move from like the Minnesota Vikings staff, their general manager and their head coach, to bring in Sam Bradford is probably one of the best moves I've seen that I've been watching football. Like such a good trade they made there.
I think it's one of the first kind of win-win trades I've seen in a while. That the Eagles I think they got a first-round pick out of it.
Yeah.
And the Vikings got, well, essentially, I mean, Bradford is still a superstar quarterback. He's a first overall pick. He still plays well. And I thought the game on Sunday was one of the first times that we saw him. He had an opportunity to really let it rip, and he played well. And I think, like you said it, the big key is he's not turning the ball over. He's protecting the ball. They have a really good defense. And he's doing everything that he's being asked of and doing it really well. And I think Mike Zimmer is such a good coach that he's really good at recognizing what he has in players, and he's recognized what he has in Sam Bradford, and playing to his strengths, and it's working well. I mean, they're 5-0.
It's working well because I don't think he's that different in build up from Teddy Bridgewater. So not really asking the team to like change that much. Only a little bit, but like I just want to. This is one quote from Sam Bradford where he said like, if you play from ahead and give our defense a chance to get off the passer, it's pretty tough on the other team. That's literally what they're doing. They're going ahead, taking up for a touchdown on the first drive, and then they're just always ahead in the game, and their defense just gets after quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Quickly
Brock Osweiler had a pretty tough game. Yeah.
On the Texans and Brock Osweiler, I would actually say that. You could really criticize this move that manager Rick Smith and head coach Bill O'Brien have done, bringing Brock Osweiler in. They paid him a lot of money, and he hasn't really stepped up to the plate yet. And you look around the league in other teams who've got rookie quarterbacks, people like Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz. I mean, even Jacoby Brissett. I mean, how he was looking, and you're kind of thinking that you paid all this money to Brock Osweiler when there's all of these really good quarterbacks that were hanging around the draft. I mean, I think didn't the Cowboys, they got Dak Prescott in the 4th round, was it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they've unearthed like a
gem. I mean, that's an absolute gem. I mean, he's on his way to breaking a Tom Brady record in his first season.
So and you can say that it's a new team, yada yada, like he has to learn the offense, but all these rookies have to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Osweiler's he's been in the league for a while. He's played in a major team and played in big matches as well.
And I'd arguably say that like the Broncos have got a better. I'm sorry, not the Broncos. The Texans have a better offense. He's got better like players to throw it to than Dak Prescott has got.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the most dynamic receiver in the league in DeAndre Hopkins, one of the fastest rookies and one of the fastest receivers we've seen in a while in Will Fuller. Yeah. And he's got a really good running back in Lamar Miller, but they seem to just lack any kind of direction. I mean, his pass completion was terrible. He only completed 19 of 42 passes. Granted, he did get sacked 4 times, and he was up against one of the best defensive lines in football, but you kind of expect a little bit more from a guy you've paid that amount of money to.
Definitely. I'm saying like Minnesota rolling on. They got a bye week coming up this week, so they'll still be unbeaten. But looking pretty tough. I think the Packers need to take this one and like if they want to go up and get that NFC North, they need to put pressure on the Minnesota Vikings by winning this week. But apart from that, we can move on from that Vikings game.
Well, we were just talking about Dak Prescott. I'm going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. Dallas Cowboys won 28 points to 14. Dak Prescott had 227 yards and a touchdown, a pass rating of 117.9, which is really good. But the story of the week is Ezekiel Elliott, or Zeke Elliott, whatever is your preference of name. He's currently the lead rusher in the NFL. He is a rookie. He had 134 yards rushing, and he looked unplayable. He had a 60-yard run at one point. I mean, he's the kind of guy that if he gets going quickly, you can't stop him. And the Bengals they had no way of controlling anything today. They looked completely out of their depth. I think this was probably that I was listening on the. I was watching this game back on Game Pass, and the commentators were saying that this is probably one of the worst performances they've seen by a Bengals team in the Marvin Lewis era. I mean, they looked clueless. They didn't know what was going on. I felt kind of sorry for Andy Dawson because I think he was the only guy who was actually playing well. He didn't turn the ball over at all. He did get sacked 4 times, but his receivers just couldn't get open. And I think you can kind of feel the loss of Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones quite strongly in this team. I don't think Brandon LaFell, from what I
Matched up
saw
to them,
from him,
yeah.
from what I've seen from him so far, and what I saw from him in New England when he was at the Patriots, he's never going to be like a top second receiver. He's always going to be like a solid kind of slot receiver who makes like 1 or 2 plays in the game, and it means that AJ Green is getting a lot of double coverages. Tyler Eifert is still injured because he went to the Pro Bowl, so he's never going back there. And just also the running game. I mean, Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill, they can't get anything going. And the Bengals, they're 2-3 now, so it's not like disastrous at the moment. But this was quite like a shocking loss. I mean, this is the third time they've lost to good teams, where it's not like they're losing close matches. I don't think this scoreline did the Cowboys justice because they kind of took the foot off the pedal in the fourth quarter and let the Bengals come back in the game. But if the Bengals want to start being taken seriously again as a playoff team, they have to start competing in these games. I mean, the game against the Steelers, it was a close match, but the Bengals were never really truly in that game. They got completely they got beaten by the Broncos as well. They've been beaten by the Cowboys, and these are games they need to be winning. But fair, I mean, the Cowboys, I mean, Dak Prescott, he looks incredible. I mean, they've unearthed an absolute gem in him. I think my prediction of Tony Romo retiring could be happening. But yeah, if I was if I was a Cowboys fan, I would never want to give that team back to Tony Romo. I mean, Prescott looks completely content in that offense, and you got to remember he hasn't even had Des Bryant yet. I mean, he's still yet to come back from injury. So
Yeah, do you think it's going to be an issue like we saw last year with like an injury, with the Broncos, how Peyton Manning had and Brock Osweiler came in, lit it up? Do you think we're going to see the same sort of issue there, where Tony Romo comes back and they're like, well, a bit of a dilemma for the head coach there?
I think a scenario that could be that if, like the Broncos did with, they put in Brock Osweiler kind of like halfway through the season. He got them a couple wins. He played well, but then when it got to crunch time towards the end of the season, you could kind of tell he was out of his depth, and the pressure was starting to get to him. Then they pulled him and put Peyton Manning in. Because he's been there, done it all. He's won Super Bowls. He's won playoff games. He knows what to do. I could maybe see that as a scenario that it gets towards the end of the season, and I mean, you got to remember Dak Prescott. He is still a rookie, so this is all new to him. That when it starts to get into key games, that they maybe put Tony Romo in, who as a guy who knows what to do. But I mean, it gives them the freedom that the Cowboys kind of let Tony Romo come back and not come back until he's fully healed, because the problems last season was they rushed him back as quickly as possible, and his shoulder wasn't fully healed at that point. So it's good things for the Cowboys. Jerry Jones will obviously take all the praise for finding Dak Prescott, but I reckon there's a very good chance. He totally will, but remember, he was the guy who wanted to trade up and get Paxton Lynch, and Paxton Lynch hasn't been that great so far. So
True. I mean, the Bengals definitely need to step up. I mean, they're currently sitting at 3-2 right now with playing in the division, having an 0-1 losing record in the division as well. It's not an easy game they have coming up this week, where they travel to Foxborough to play Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So, looking like they might not be doing as well as they were doing last year. Just saying, I know you said you had your prediction with Tony Romo being retiring in the season. I do have the Bengals going 8-8, just waiting for that to come round and come through. I think I had them going 8-8. They definitely made the playoffs. I had the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens both making huge sways. I think I had the Pittsburgh Steelers going 12, losing 2 games. The Ravens losing 3. I don't know. Anyway, do you mind if I move on to one of my games?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I want to talk about the Buffalo Bills going into LA, picking up the W there. Rex Ryan picking up the win. And first of all, I just want to say there was one of the most interesting plays I've ever seen, where Tyrod Taylor goes to take a snap from the ball, but he lines up behind his left guard instead of behind his center. I mean, how does that happen in nowadays football? Surely it's Eric Wood, one of the best centers in the game the Buffalo got there. surely you like look up, you see it's like not the right number. You're like, this looks a bit different to than what I'm usually for. But like, it's him and like it was the running back who was next to him as well. I'm not sure if it was Shady, but it could have been. Other than that, Tyrod Taylor had a okay day, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Well, threw 124 yards from 12 pass completions. It's not bad, but big day for Shady. Or LaShawn McCoy. He took 18 attempts, 150 yards. Did the job for Buffalo in the running game, and I think when you can run the ball down the throats of your opponents, and like for a team like the Rams, who are so pride themselves on their defensive interior, their interior, and how they can stop the run, it's bit of an effort for you're starting off really well if you're running down and pushing the game right down their throats, and it seems like the Bills are doing all right without their star man, their wideout Sammy Watkins. Had a lot of throws to their tight end Clay, who picked up 73 yards. But yeah, both receiving touchdowns through the air. One rushing touchdown. This guy I'd never heard of. But he only took the ball twice and got a touchdown from it, so fair enough. But it's just like the defense of the Buffalo Bills put them through. But this was a game which I didn't expect to be high scoring, as both defenses were so good. But maybe they both slipped up. I mean, you don't expect the Rams to get 30 points put up on them, or the Bills to get 19 put up on them, really, unless it's like a very decent team. But yeah, Case Keenum for the Rams throwing 2 interceptions. Yeah, that was just the main issue that the Rams had, just taking care of the football. But you know, it's moving well for both these teams. The Bills are 3-2, currently second in the AFC East, behind your Patriots after that win last week. Well, the Rams are still the Rams are 3-2, and they're just one spot outside the playoffs right now. And they're moving well. They're progressing, but I think the Rams would see this as more of a missed opportunity. They thought they could probably mark this game on the schedule and pick it up as a win. But
do you think if Case Keenum has another day like that, where he throws interceptions? I mean, they had an opportunity to win the game, and he got intercepted. Do you think if he keeps doing stuff like that and throwing away close games, that we could see Jared Goff in soon?
I think they're just very happy with what they have with Case Keenum right now. I mean, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm not clamoring for Jared Goff if he's not ready, which I feel that the Jeff Fisher, and the Rams, and their coaching staff, they're not too sure. Like we saw it in Hard Knocks, they're not okay with Jared Goff right now. I wouldn't want to throw him in right now. It's not panic time yet for the Rams. They got a winning record right now. I wouldn't do it. I mean, if they lose 4 games in a row and it looks like they're out of the playoffs or whatever, sure, chuck in Jared Goff for some experience. But other than that, I would stay with Case Keenum.
Do you know what I find weird is that, I mean, okay, yes, Jared Goff hasn't played, but he is the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and we've barely heard any rumblings or any news about how ready he is, whether he's going to be ready for
I think that's
week 8 or literally nothing apart from the fact that he's been upgraded to backup. You hear nothing out of LA. Even nothing on his development or anything. Have they just shut him down, or it's weird that we're not hearing anything.
I think it's just that. Yeah, it's weird because they don't want to put him out there. They're not ready yet. I think they're trying to keep him under wraps. And so go about the league as a backup QB and be okay, this is how get into the frame of mind of calling these plays and that, because I thought he was meant to be the QB who was more ready for the NFL rather than Carson Wentz, if you get me. But Carson Wentz is playing well.
Maybe they're trying to pull what the Eagles did, is where they don't say anything about their quarterback and then suddenly unleash him, and the guy is amazing, like the Eagles did with Carson Wentz, where we had no idea what he was like, and then they released him. And he's like, wow, this guy is pretty good.
They traded Sam Bradford away, and right. We'll start Carson Wentz then. Right. Do you want to move on to your final game?
Yeah. All right. My final game of the week is all right. Do you remember on the predictions where I said I picked against the Broncos all
Yeah.
season until last week, and I said, I bet you the Broncos will lose this game.
Yeah, we
And
both did that.
lo and behold, they lost the game. So I feel like my predictions is what's controlling the Broncos season. But yes, the Broncos did lose. They lost in Mile High Stadium, 23-16 to the Atlanta Falcons, who, I mean, that hype train is chugging along quite slowly, I would still say. It's still difficult. I mean, it's similar to the Panthers last year, where I think it's going to take a while, but the Panthers
People to get
really,
on it. Yeah, yeah.
the Falcons really have to be going well for people to really start believing. I mean, do you remember, like with the Panthers, it didn't take to like halfway through the season until people really believed the hype that this was a good team.
True.
But the Matt Ryan had another really good day. He had 267 yards for one touchdown. He completed 15 of 28 passes. And the surprise of the day wasn't that Julio Jones had a huge day. The Broncos did actually a really, really good job of kind of shutting him down and taking him out of the game. And you kind of expect that with a secondary that has guys like Aqib Talib and Chris Harris in it. But it allowed Tevin Coleman to have 132 receiving yards, which was kind of weird, seeing as he's a running back. But and then Devonta Freeman had 88 rushing yards. So there's kind of double-headed attack, similar to what the Bengals want to have, like I was saying earlier with Gio Bernard and Jeremy Neal.
Yeah, definitely.
The Falcons have really got this right now. I mean, Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman, they look unstoppable. They're just tearing it up, and they look awesome. I mean, the other guys like Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones, Patrick DeMarco, they kind of faded out the game a bit. I mean, Mohamed Sanu did have 43 yards, but I thought this was if you're going to start kind of believing in the Falcons, I thought this game was really crucial. Firstly, because it was the defending Super Bowl champions and probably one of the best defenses we've seen in a while. And they did what they expected they should do if you're playing the Falcons, which is take Julio Jones out of the game and then you win the game, which I probably would have done as well. But they didn't expect that these other guys are so good that they can win without having Julio Jones. So really crucial for the Falcons. And their defense. I mean, that defensive line absolutely decimated the Broncos' offensive line. I mean, poor Paxton Lynch. I'm sure he looked all right last week, and he had 223 yards, and he did get picked off, and it was a pretty stupid throw that he did, typical rookie mistake. But he got sacked 6 times. I mean, he got destroyed. I mean, and I think he was starting to it was starting to get to him a bit. Like, you know, we talk about quarterbacks like seeing ghosts where they run too early. He was doing that quite a lot, where the pocket would start to fall around him, and you'd see a more experienced quarterback, let's say Tom Brady. He would just stand there calmly and throw the ball away and find a receiver open. Paxton Lynch would just get on his bike and run away, and then get sacked. Vic Beasley was the player of the game. He had 3.5 sacks.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely an intriguing matchup, definitely.
I think, yeah, like Vic Beasley had a hell of a day. I mean, like he got the Paxton Lynch fumble twice, and who was it making those fumbles? Vic Beasley. He got 2 fumbles in the day. Like it just seemed to me that it was like, okay, we know how to shut down the Falcons offense. Let's just go double team Julio Jones, and then the Falcons like, okay, fine. Well, if you're gonna do that, let's just throw the ball elsewhere. And it just seemed like it just played into the Falcons' hands. I mean, like they got the running game started as well. Like everything was was working well for the Falcons offense, and just like, well, I think one of the biggest surprises for me that I've seen this season was this win.
It was definitely a win that the Falcons needed to kind of prove that they're a force to be reckoned with. But I mean, they've got another. If they win next week they're playing against the Seattle Seahawks. If they win that game,
think about that win. You beat the Panthers. You throw for like 500 and something yards for Matt Ryan, and Julio Jones gets like a 300 day. Then you go to the other Super Bowl. Then you go to the Super Bowl winners, and you beat them at home as well. And then you got the Seahawks.
Then you go to the previous two years NFC champions and beat them as well. I mean,
if that happens, then like we definitely got to start taking this Falcons game seriously, and it just seems like it's unstoppable right now.
Yeah,
like that's probably the best secondary in the league. I mean, you could say them, maybe the Cardinals, but the Broncos secondary is just unreal, and the Falcons just like lit up. Well, Matt Ryan lit up.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible to watch. And I mean, do you remember before the season I was saying that Matt Ryan is kind of on like a slow like decline in his numbers
Definitely.
going up. He must have been listening to the podcast because he really like worked out in the off season.
Yeah, because he wasn't the Matty Ice that we know
Yeah.
from beforehand. For the past like 3 years, he's not been the same.
I thought
But
he did well because I mean this could have been so easy that he could have. I thought this season was crucial for him because if he had kept on that trajectory, he would have just kind of gone down and been like another like average starting quarterback. But he's improved his game and he's gone back to being an elite level quarterback.
definitely, I mean, he's only 31, so he's still got a few years left in him.
Yeah.
If you say. Right, if I move on to my last game, who I have the San Diego Chargers went to the Black Hole in Oakland to go take on the Raiders, and it was just the Chargers doing what they do best and blowing a lead, and just like throwing it away. And when they have the chance to tie the game in the last minute, the fumble from the punter who'd already shanked the pitch earlier, the kick earlier. I think it's like Kesa. I think it's the punter. Yeah, he mucked it up the game for them. But Derek Carr and Philly Rivers, probably one of like an up and coming quarterback in Derek Carr, and then Philip Rivers, like one of the best in the game right now, I'd say. So Philly Rivers had a pretty decent day. Apart from he threw 2 interceptions, but he had 359 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, spreading the ball all the different receivers. Derek Carr going for 317 yards, same touchdown ratio, 2-1, but only threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's just another game where the Chargers look like they can put up big numbers, and they always do put up big numbers. But it gets to the third and fourth quarter like that, and their offense stalls, their defense allows big plays to get picked up on them. It just seems that from what happens in the first half, it's just a completely different team. They'll still come out and throw some touchdowns onto, but it just seems like it's not the Chargers that like we saw like 5 years ago when they were making it to the postseason, and Philly Rivers, he's still that man. He's still a boss, but the rest of his team around him is just capitulating, and it was just personified by that fumble of the snap, going for the field goal, and you see Philly Rivers on the touch line, like throws his helmet down, and it's just like, what just happened there? Like, we're going into overtime, and then Oakland Raiders pick up the win from that forced fumble. But
You really got to feel for the Raiders. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks of the last couple of years. I mean, I'd say in terms of ability, he's on the same level as guys like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning.
Definitely.
But he has just had the bad luck of being. I mean, this isn't new. The Chargers are a terribly run franchise.
Yeah.
They can't get anything right, and they can't put together a team. They can't seem to put together a team that wins. They've got some real issues, and it's not like this is the thing. I mean, they're probably one of the best 1-4 teams out there, because they're hanging around in games. It's not like they're getting blown out.
Yeah,
And they have so many leads going into the third and fourth quarter, but they just seem to have this terrible luck of just messing things up. And I think what happens is, if you keep doing it, it starts to like play into the players' minds, and they start thinking, all right, well, we've got a lead, but we'll probably just mess it up anyway. And they kind of start believing that they are literally cursed.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this game was just like such a pass-heavy game. Like, there was 3 receivers with over 100 yards. I mean, there's 2 San Diego receivers, T.Y. Williams and Travis Benjamin, picking up 117 yards each, and then Amari Cooper obviously picking up 131 yards and getting that touchdown for the Raiders. It just seems that for both teams, like their passing attack is their offense is great. But their defense just isn't what it should be. And with all the moves that the Raiders made in the offseason, I feel that their defense should be better than what I'm seeing right now. But I'm not too sure. I mean, they only managed to pick up like 2 sacks against Philly Rove.
So shout out to one of my favorite names in the NFL, just because it names Hunter Henry, got 74 yards.
Hunter Henry, is that actually what you
His name? It feels like his name should be the other way around, Henry Hunter, but Hunter Henry is his name.
I've not actually thought about that. I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely should be. Henry Hunter should be his name. Oh well. Anyway, that's all I have to say. That's my rant about the Chargers over. I mean, I don't know. They got a big game on Monday Night Football and on Thursday Night Football this week. I think that takes us nicely into predictions.
Yeah.
For the first one, obviously, Denver Broncos traveling to San Diego. Thursday Night Football. It's going to be the most San Diego thing to go and win this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I might just pick them just because it's Philly Rivers against the Broncos, and when he plays against them, he usually plays really well.
And he'll be motivated. That's actually why I'm picking the Broncos, because seeing as the way I pick the Broncos is if I pick them, they'll lose.
Oh, so, nice. Is Paxton Lynch starting? I think he is.
No, they announced that Trevor Siemian said he's expecting to start. So.
Oh, he's said expecting. Okay. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos if Siemian starts. If Paxton Lynch is there, then I'll take the Chargers.
Okay.
So Broncos for now, I guess. Yeah. Going into that game. Anyway, that we can move on to the Sunday games in the afternoon. The first one up, we got the 49ers travel to the Buffalo Bills. 49ers being the worst team in the NFC right now, at 1-16. Sorry, it's not 1-16, 1-4. It's only one other team. There's two other teams who are 1-4, but the team who's 15th in the NFC, my Carolina Panthers, their one win came against the San Francisco 49ers, so that's why they're not bottom of the NFC, which I'm, quite worried about. But anyway, the 49ers travel to Buffalo. I think I'm going to have to give this win to the Bills. Even though Tyrod Taylor lines up behind the wrong players, I'm going to give them the win.
I want to go as well. I mean, I was watching Shady McCoy on the weekend, and he looks unplayable at the moment. He looks like the Shady that we saw in Philly. He is like he's dodging through tackles, so much pace on him. I think they could win just with Shady McCoy.
I mean, they probably could. I mean, I would probably expect that to be their game plan, seeing as how well they did last week. Moving on to the team that has a rookie quarterback. Going into the NFC East battle, you love these. The NFC East matchup, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Washington to take on the Redskins. Who have you got?
Well, first of all, I'm glad this game isn't on Monday Night Football. On Sunday Night Football, because it shouldn't be. I'm going to go for the Eagles. The Redskins, they're kind of slightly under the radar because there's a lot of teams that are worse than them. They have not developed in any way. I mean, they kind of papered over the cracks with a win over Baltimore. But I think they're going to lose this Eagles team because I think this Eagles team is a lot better than the Redskins, and I don't think Kirk Cousins has made any significant steps to how he played last year. And I think putting the franchise tag on him was a good move because I don't think he's going to be their long-term quarterback at the moment.
Right, I'm actually going to pick the Redskins in this one just because the fact that you said that picking up the win against the Ravens last week, and I really rate the Ravens this year. I don't think they're a pushover team, and if you can go and beat the Ravens like the Redskins did. And then come back to this home fixture, like divisional matchup. Fair enough, they're both on 3 wins right now, but I think this will push the Redskins above the Philadelphia Eagles, give them a 4-2 record, which I believe they will do. So I'm gonna pick the Redskins in that game. Right, moving on. Oh, what a terrible game! The Browns versus the Titans. Oh my god, this is literally the worst game ever. Actually, wait, the Browns versus maybe.
The Dolphins? No, I'd actually say Titans against Dolphins because those are both really dull teams to watch. At least the Browns do fun stuff.
Yeah, at least the Browns, you're like, oh, is their quarterback going to be fit? I don't know, probably not. Let's put Terrell Pryor in there. I'll take Marcus Mariota to carry on the win from last week. And they'll be going 3-3 after this weekend, which they will be very happy with, I feel. Obviously picking up the number 1 pick in the draft last year.
I agree with you. I'm going to go for the Titans as well, mainly because I've been really impressed with DeMarco Murray. I think he's second in rushing yards in the NFL behind Zeke Elliott, which is kind of sneaky because he plays the Titans and no one really notices anything that happens at the Titans because no one really cares about them. But yeah, I think I'm really happy with DeMarco Murray, and I think I mean, I really want the Browns to do well because I really like Hugh Jackson as a coach, and I like what they're trying
Yeah.
to do. But I like they can't. They're not even going to be able to beat the Titans.
That's true. I think we have both picked the Titans there. Right. The Ravens traveled to East Rutherford, New Jersey, to take on the New York Giants. Now the Giants have lost their last 3 games in a row. They've really disappointed me. They're my pick for the NFC East this season. And they're sitting currently at the bottom with a 2-3 record. I don't expect the Giants to bounce back this week. I expect the Ravens to bounce back from that loss to Washington they had. So I'm gonna have to pick the Ravens in this one. The Giants just don't seem like a team you can put together something right now. And off the back of 3 losses, I'm gonna have to pick the Ravens.
I'm going to disagree with you because I like disagreeing with you. I'm going to take the Giants just to disagree with you.
Yeah, it would be a pretty boring podcast if we had the exact same picks. So. That's true. Right. The Jaguars go all the way to Chicago to take on the Bears.
Man, that's such a long trip for them.
I know. I'm not. This game is going to be pretty average. The Bears are just terrible right now. So I'm going to give the Jaguars the win here. Just because how bad the Bears are. I'm not really sure who they're going to be playing at quarterback, but it's no Jay Cutler, so.
Yeah, I mean that whole quarterback situation in Chicago is so weird. I mean, John Fox was asked about it. He was like, "I've got no idea what's going to happen." It's like that really puts faith in your coaching staff that they have no idea.
If your head coach is like, "I have no idea,"
I'm going to take the Jags as well. I mean, we got to support our London team.
It's true. I put up the how we got flags from them.
Yeah.
So by the way, guys, when we went down to watch the Jags play the Colts in the London game, they had all these Jacksonville Jaguars flags, so London International Series, yada yada yada. Put up one of them in my living room the other day. Looks pretty good. Wish I'd taken more
as well.
I'm not in my living room right now, but it's just on one wall. There's nothing but that flag, and it's like a really quite a small flag, so it makes the room look really stupid. But nice little segue there. Right, we're both picking the Jaguars in that game, yeah?
Yep.
Right, moving on to another 1:00 game. Rams at the Lions. This is a game that I really don't know how to call because the Rams, they're 3-2 right now, no? I think they are, yeah. 3-2, but they just come off of that loss. And if Case Keenum doesn't protect the ball, this Lions passing attack could do the business. But at the same time, it's just that I don't think the Detroit Lions offensive line is that good, and I don't think it can deal with the LA Rams defense. So I'm going to pick the Rams in this one.
I like Matt Stafford, as you might know. I was also really happy that the Lions won because I think they deserved to win. And for the first time, their defense stepped up. Darius Slay, who's probably their biggest star on defense at the moment, he made 2 huge plays. First of all, that fumble of Matthews, the running back, and then he intercepted. Also, Carson Wentz's first interception in the NFL.
Yeah, but that was like a fourth quarter throw, so going for the game.
He still intercepted it.
Yeah.
Come on, that Rams offense, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't believe that the offensive line can handle the LA Rams' defensive line here. That's the only reason I'm going.
Did you look how hard Matt Stafford was? His helmet came off, and he still carried on playing.
Yeah, but he'll throw a game-losing interception at the last minute. So.
No, he's not. Jim Bob Cooter is going to have the best offensive game plan ever.
All right, so I'm picking the Rams. You're picking the Lions. Next game, got up an AFC matchup here. The Steelers are taking on the Dolphins in Miami. The Steelers are much better than the Dolphins. The Dolphins are terrible, but the Dolphins always go 7-9, and they're currently 1-5. So they need to pick up some wins, but I don't think it's gonna be this week. I'll have the Steelers picking up a win.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you always try and make a case for both of the teams winning. I really just couldn't find a reason that the Dolphins are going to win the game, apart from the fact that it's in Miami and it might be a bit uncomfortable for the Steelers to play in Miami.
It could be a trap game for the Steelers. That's because they shouldn't lose. And
even Tannehill's looks so bad, he probably wouldn't see a trap game if it hit him in the face.
Unless it's the Patriots going down to Miami, because when you guys go down there, you don't win.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
But it's not the Patriots, it's the Steelers this week, and I'll pick the Steelers, and I'm guessing you're going to go for the same.
Yeah, definitely.
I love you just laughed it off like, are you serious? All right, one game which I think we'll agree on is that the Cincinnati Bengals travel into New England to take on the Patriots. Tom Brady's back. The Bengals are average right now. I'm going to pick the Patriots.
You
Tough
know what? I'm
decision.
going to pick the Bengals.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Are you actually picking the Bengals?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals.
No way.
I can
Why?
see them winning this game. This is the kind of game they would win. And then Tom Brady
I don't
comes
know.
crashing down
The
to
Bengals
reality.
haven't been good at all.
Yeah, but they really need to win this game. Like, they need to win it.
It's true. They do need to win a game, but I just don't see the Patriots losing.
Like, I
Right.
really want to pick the Patriots, but
Right, which one are you picking? You got to pick one. I'll pick the Patriots, so you can disagree with me
I'm
if
taking
you
the
want.
Bengals. I'll take the
Okay.
Bengals.
That added incentive disagreeing with me. Right, moving on to the afternoon games. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to the Black Hole to play on the Oakland Raiders at home. This is one of the oldest rivalries in the game, isn't it? The Raiders against the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't been what everyone expect them to be this year, have they? They're 2-2 right now.
Yeah, but they've had some good games. They've also had some really difficult games to start with. Doesn't mean I think they're going to win. But yeah, it is right. They've kind of been like up and down in terms of like playing, and I think the Raiders are going to win. I'm really high on the Raiders. I was high on them the whole off season. I thought they were going to be the number one seed in the AFC. That could still happen. So go Raiders, and Derek Carr, you're going to win.
I don't know. I kind of do want to pick the Chiefs. Same time, it is home for Raiders, but I don't know. This is a difficult one for me. It's just that the Raiders defense hasn't been what it has been, so that's probably what will lead me towards taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the Chiefs in this game coming up against the Raiders. Right, the second game we got probably the best game of the week to see what's going on. If the Falcons, who traveled to Seattle all the way across country, how they're going to play. What do you think this game's going to be like? Because I'm excited to see this game, but at the same time, I really don't want the Falcons to win, but I think they will.
No, I'm going to take the Seahawks. Like the Falcons, this is like winning in. I just realised that I'm probably going to completely contradict myself. I'm about to say that they're going to Seattle. It's going to be one of the hardest. It's one of the hardest places in the NFL to win, and
Yeah.
then they just won in probably the hardest place to win in the
Yeah,
NFL because it's literally impossible to breathe in the stadium. But I think in terms of like atmosphere, this is one of the hardest places to play, and I think the Seahawks look really good because they were on a bye last week, weren't they?
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
So I think they're kind of gone a bit under radar, and I think they're going to come back off this bye. They're going to be fresh, and they're going to pull something big out.
Yeah, I reckon actually just coming off the bye week, I'm gonna have to pick the Seahawks as well now. Especially like I can't say that the Falcons are gonna beat the Broncos and the Seahawks back to back. They can't go from Panthers, Broncos, and Seahawks. Like I really hope not because I don't know NFC South rivalry I guess. But yeah, I'll pick the Seahawks in that one as with you. How is this game not in prime time? How is the Cowboys Packers game not in prime time?
Because just wait until what Sunday Night Football is.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? All right, so this game, which should be prime time, but it's not, is the last. Wait, have I missed out on a game? No, I haven't. I missed out on the Panthers Saints game.
You did.
Oh my god, I missed out on my own team.
Oh, this is why I'm doing so badly. Have you already jumped off the Panthers bandwagon?
I've actually done that. Oh my god, I keep saying all those like 2015, 2016, like RIP, like Tombstone, RIP, the Panthers bandwagon. I'm just right. It's a 1 o'clock game. It's in the morning. It's Panthers at Saints. We can't go one. We just can't go 1-5.
Yeah, that's my same reasoning. Is like, come on, this Panthers team isn't that bad. They were so good last year. Losing Josh Norman can't have made that much of a big deal.
We can't go 1-5, really. Nah, yeah, I've got to pick the Panthers. Just because we can't. That can't happen. We can't go 0-3 in the division.
Yeah, this Saints team isn't that good.
And we've got a bye week coming up the week after as well. So I think we have to pick up a win here. Like if we go into the bye 1-5, that's like season over.
Yeah, you can kiss goodbye to the playoffs.
There was something which I saw a stat the other day, which was out of the teams who have gone 1-5 out, like in their, 1-4 in their starting out into week 5.
What are the
Like six have only
what were the
made the
Chiefs last
playoffs.
season?
Didn't I think they went 2 and something, didn't they?
Oh,
No, because they
that's
went on
it.
like a 10-game win streak, didn't they?
Yeah.
They went 10. Did they go 10-5? No, they went like
They went
11
one.
and
They were
4,
1-5, and then they went on a 10-game win streak.
and then they went 11 and 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
props to
everything
the
is still
Chiefs.
possible.
Props to the Chiefs. Right, I'll pick the Panthers because we have to win this game.
Yeah.
Like that, we might not have Cam. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. And just like the loss to the Buccaneers last week was abysmal. I mean, they ran the ball down our throats, and that's what our defense is best at, stopping the run, and we let it happen.
Yeah, but you got the advantage is the Saints haven't got a running game.
That's true.
They just have Drew Brees.
But at the
and he's
same
only-
time, we don't have a secondary,
yeah,
so
you'll be
we've
fine.
got, we've got Kurt Coleman there. Hopefully, he can run across the entire field like free safety, just kicking about.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I'll pick the Panthers in this one simply because I can't not pick against my team right now. We're 1-4. We're 1-4. Please, guys, please. You got the Panthers as well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So moving on from that, sorry, to this game who should be in prime time, but it's not. Cowboys at the Packers. How is this not in prime time?
So
Like,
I can watch it. Because if it's not in prime time, I don't have to stay up till 1 a.m. to watch it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I agree.
This is
yeah.
prime time for us.
Right, Packers. Boom.
Cowboys.
Oh, what? But Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott.
But it's at Lambeau. Clay
Yeah.
Matthews is gonna wreck him.
Yeah, but come on, the Cowboys are going to want to have revenge for that horrible game with the catch. and all that
with
shit.
the catch, the Des Bryant. Is that Des? He was out last week. I don't think he'll be
Yeah,
back.
Des
actually.
might be back this week. And come
Oh,
on.
you might be. Oh my god! Imagine if they make it like they do the exact same thing.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Like 4th and 10, Dak Prescott. Right. Okay. So I'll pick the Packers. You got the Cowboys. Right. And then this is apparently the Sunday night game. Why? I don't know. Colts at Texans.
This probably seemed like a good game in the off season, but now they're just two
This is
really
probably
bad
like
teams.
I can see why they did it. Like the Texans won the division last year. They got good. They got that star-studded defense. J.J. Watt, David Clowney, all the players like Willie Merciless, Vince Wilfork, all those other first-round picks they spent there. Against Andrew Luck, he's going to come back. He was injured, but that's fine. That was in the past. But they're just not that great right now. I'll have to. But I don't believe in the Texans because of that offense.
I'm 100% going for the Texans. I mean, the Colts are such a bad team. Like they got lucky to win against the Bears. Like Andrew Luck had to pull all the tricks out of his pocket. Pull all the tricks out of his sleeve is probably a more better way.
I kind of want to pick the Colts just because it'll put them on top of. It'll put them from 4th to last.
Yeah.
I mean, from
I'm-
4th to 1st in the division, and then, I mean 3 teams are on 3-3. So for the sake of that, I kind of want to pick the Colts, and I think I will
Just for
do.
the sake of making it look
Just the fact
aesthetically
that they'll
pleasing.
all be 3. They'll all be 3-3 apart from the Jags who had that bye week. They're 2-3 right now, but it's just the fact that the Colts will be last. They're currently last in the division in the AFC South, but they'll go top if they win. So I want to pick them.
So you're picking it so the division looks more aesthetically pleasing.
Basically, yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. I'm going to pick the Texans because they're better.
Well, I'm not going to be watching this game. I'm not going to stay up and watch this.
I'm
I
not.
don't think.
I'm going to watch it on Game Pass the next day. There's no way I'm
I
staying.
won't even. I probably won't. I don't have a Game Pass. I won't watch that. I'll just probably watch the highlights on NFL videos and be like sick. All right. Okay. The last game, the Monday Night Football. Fair enough. At the start of the season, this is a good Monday Night Football game. Jets at Cardinals. But right now, it's also terrible.
Yeah. This
I'll
is
pick
two
the-
bad teams.
Like I'll pick the Cardinals. The Jets aren't. Ryan Fitzpatrick interception. He's not the Ryan Fitzpatrick of 2015. He's the Ryan Fitzpatrick of every other year.
I agree, but I think the Jets are
Oh,
going to
you're
win.
not gonna. Oh, what are you doing?
Because come on, like look at that defensive line, and Carson Palmer can barely throw the ball at the moment. He's not getting any protection, and if they just like completely destroy him, they have a chance of winning. So,
Yeah, but David Johnson though.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I'll pick as the Cardinals winning on Monday Night Football. I don't know. So literally, we have obviously there's no one. The Minnesota Vikings don't play this week, and who else is on the Vikings? The Buccaneers are on the their bye week. So you know anything from that. So going through to week 6, the Vikings are still the only unbeaten team. Doesn't look like the Browns are going to pick up their first win. I really don't think they will. But other than that, I think that's enough for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you did. And then, by the way, Will does have a new show. If any of you are in Birmingham, not Birmingham, Alabama, but like in England, tune into that tomorrow. What was it, 7 to 8?
8 till 9 on Burn FM. If you Google burnfm.com, you can listen to it. It's all online. It's a great radio station. Do tune in. It's called the NFL Show.
Yeah, I would definitely listen to it, but I've got a date tomorrow, so sorry, mate. Other than that. All right, guys.
If not, it will be up on Mixcloud afterwards.
All right. Well, that'll be up. I'll give it a listen afterwards, and then just laugh at how bad you are without me. Stop trying to make it in this business without me, okay? All right, guys. Until next week. Have a good one.
Bye.